Well, anyway, there's a list displayed of all the various meetings we are facing this year. Some are part of the ITU's calendar. The ITU is the UN Special Agency for Communications, as you all know. Some are part of the broader UN agenda, such as the CSTD Working Group on Enhanced Cooperation. Others, also the Internet Governance Forum. Others are outside this UN calendar, such as the Brazil meeting. We are just back from the first of these meetings. That was the World Telecom Development Conference in Dubai. We have put it on the agenda. If there's time, Sally, who was our lead in that conference, can give us a broad overview. But let me say at the outset, it was a very positive conference and a good ahead of us. The most difficult, presumably, will be the ITU Plenipotentiary Conference towards the end of the year. That is a treaty conference where member states decide on what the ITU's future tasks will be. But now, enhance the positive momentum we have from the WTDC. And with that, I would like to hand over to Daniel, who can give us an introduction and an overview on the state of play and planning of the conference. Please, Daniel, over to you.
Okay. Hi, Markus. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you. So thank you for this opportunity for speaking about Net Mundial. We are almost there, right? And it's a pleasure for joining us today. So let's go through a quick overview. We prepared some slides for you, some new information that just came out yesterday about the agenda. And can we move to the next slide? Okay, perhaps you are familiar with this picture. This is how Net Mundial is organized. We have the event chaired by Professor Virgílio Almeida, the Vice Minister for ICT in Brazil. He is co-chaired by 4 other representatives from different sectors. And we have some committees also. First, the high-level multi-stakeholder committee, responsible for setting the political tone of Net Mundial. We have 12 co-hosts countries inside the high-level committee, and we also have representatives from all the multi-stakeholder sectors. And we also have the executive multi-stakeholder committee, responsible for processing all the inputs, all the contributions, setting the procedures for the conference, and that's the group that I've been working more closely in the last weeks. We have the logistics committee that's very busy these days, you may guess, and our secretariat. And all the other countries that are joining Net Mundial, the numbers are quite impressive. You see the following slides are joining the Council of Governmental Advisors. And this council is coordinated by our Minister of Foreign Affairs. Okay, can we move? So perhaps some names here are familiar for me. I can see from the participant list. Some of you are coming to São Paulo, and I'm willing to meet you all. Please try to find me in the conference and say hello. But perhaps for most of you, you will be fully able to participate in Net Mundial remotely. First, we prepare some remote hubs in partnership with the Internet governance community. And we are very pleased to say that we will be able to offer 33 places around the world. You can see in the map where people can gather, can watch, participate in Net Mundial, can prepare questions, comments as a group. So we prepare a web page you can check the addresses for these hubs. The page is written here in this slide, and I'm also very pleased to say that 1/3 of the hubs are ISOC chapters. So we received the full support from ISOC representatives from many places, and this was something that we didn't have much control. We didn't have much planning. As you may know, we simply post some call for hubs applications in the Net Mundial website, and we are very pleased and thankful for receiving like several perfect applications for offering hubs, and that will greatly contribute for Net Mundial remote participation everywhere. Like the number of seats available on these remote hubs are almost 2 times the number of seats that we have in São Paulo. One important thing I'd like to emphasize is it's not necessary to visit some hub to participate in Net Mundial. Anybody can just access from home or from office, and you just have to visit the Net Mundial webpage, and we will prepare for you links so you can watch the live video, and you can open the Adobe Connect interface for sending your comments. So the meeting is open to everybody, not just for the remote hubs, but you can access from anywhere. And you don't need a login, you don't need anything. Just visit our website, and you will be inside Net Mundial. Okay? So next slide. This is to give some idea of the meeting format. We'll have only one big room for Net Mundial, the Grand Ballroom in the Hyatt Hotel in São Paulo, with some capacity for 800 seats. We will have a stage, of course, with the screens, and we have 6 channels of interaction during the sessions. So we prepare 4 microphones, 1 microphone for each group that will be inside the meeting, and people will have 4 lines. People will make questions as a group, and this is important to share the time for questions and comments equally among all multi-stakeholder groups. So 4 microphones inside the venue, and we also have 2 types of remote interaction, because you want the remote participants to participate as much as possible. So we will be taking comments in groups of 6 questions. So first one coming from bidirectional hub, remote hub. Bidirectional hub, I mean, like, these are hubs that can send video and audio. So we'll project the image from the hub, and then we'll have a question from academia or technical community, and then we'll have a question from government, and so on. So to give some idea of amount of interactions, so we made some calculations. So, and we'll have approximately 7 rounds of questions and comments among the 6 inputs from the microphones and from the hubs. Okay. So each multi-stakeholder group will be able to speak like 7 times, and each time people speak will be limited to 2 minutes. Okay, so 7 times 2 minutes. So each group will be interacting in the floor in 14 minutes total. Okay, so this is some basic arrangements that we prepared for the session chair. Okay, and so I hope that the chair, this will help the chairs to coordinate better the session. The next slide. This is some information about our agenda. The one day before Net Mundial, on April 22nd, we will open the pre-registration in Hyatt Hotel. and we encourage all the participants that are coming to São Paulo to please register 1 day before, if possible. In addition, the people that are receiving travel support should visit us on this day. And later on, from 6:30 p.m., we will have a welcome reception for everybody. So everybody is invited to come to the Hyatt Hotel for joining us in a cocktail, a welcome reception for all. So in the first day then, April 23rd, the registration opened quite early, and we will have the opening ceremony from 8:30 a.m., followed by welcoming remarks, and we will have a panel for setting Net Mundial goals that will be coordinated by our chairs. So after lunch, we have the first working session. The first working session is about principles, and the topics that are listed for the principal sessions are related to the latest outcome document that we received, that we publish in our website. So each topic is related to one title about the principles. And these are tentative. Okay, this will pretty much depend on how the chair conducts the meeting. It's not fixed. Perhaps we can take 1 or 2 more topics during the session, or perhaps we will spend all the time in less topics. So this is just some idea that we actually go through. Okay, and from 4:30 p.m. we have the second working session, roadmap, and the topics are also related to the outcome document available in our website. Okay, so everything happening in the same place, one session after the other, and we do not have parallel sessions. Next slide. And this is the agenda for the second day, April 24th. So in a similar model, in the morning, we have another 2 sessions, finishing the principles and finishing the roadmap, hopefully. And after lunch, we have a panel, Beyond Net Mundial. It's a public consultation about the transition of stewardship for the IANA functions. And for the closing session, we will be chaired by Professor Virginia Almeida, and we expect to have the final outcome presented to everybody on this session. Next slide. These are some numbers about the participation in Net Mundial, how many registrations we got so far. So 681. And we have some invitees for the chairman also that are not included in this amount. So these are the registrations that result from the expressions of interest that we received. So 87 countries, and you can also see the numbers for each group. And for the government delegations, we have official delegations from 66 countries and around 27 ministers joining Net Mundial. I can tell you, our diplomats are really happy with this strong participation from high-level officials in São Paulo's meeting. The next slide. So this is about the content contributions. We received 188 contributions in Net Mundial website. It was a huge volume of information that we worked together with the executive committee to come up with the first outcome document for the meeting. We received the proposals from many countries, 22 governments, plus European Commission and Commonwealth sent official contributions to Net Mundial. The numbers, it was much more than we expected. So I think that demonstrates some huge engagement from everywhere towards the topics, the effort that Net Mundial would like to have. So we appreciate, we thank everybody that participated on us with us in this process. So the role of the Secretariat, we prepared a summary of all the contributions to the Executive Committee, and they prepare a first version of the draft outcome document submitted to the high-level committee for final comments. And this version, by chance, like we had some help from WikiLeaks, but the final, the official version that are with the comments, considering the comments from the high-level committee, are published in our website, and that's what we will see in the next slide. Yeah, this is the web page that we prepare for the outcome document, and people can send comments for us in a particular paragraph or part of the document. So this page is available in documents.netmundial.pr, and you can simply write your name, your email, and submit your comment to the document. These comments from this web page will result in a new report to the Executive Committee, but they will not change the document before Net Mundial. So the version you can see today in the website is stable until the meeting. This will not change. But these comments are very important for us to give a briefing to the Executive Committee about what kind of comments we will have during the sessions, and of course we will consider the comments as well in advance. So we believe it's a very important tool for the session chairs as well. So we encourage everybody to participate in this effort. And the deadline for this comments is April 21st. We will receive comments here until April 21st then, because we need some time to process all the comments and the report. So that's the overview I would like to share with you. I'm sorry I could not read the chat questions. So Markus, if you can help me with some interactions, it would be my pleasure to answer.
Well, I know your time is limited, but I hope you will have time to answer some questions participants may have. So I open the floor for questions, and I suggest maybe bundling them, see what questions they are, and allow you to respond to them as a group question. So who has a question, please? Nobody? Well, that shows the presentation.
Chip Sharp has a question.
Okay, Chip.
Will there be remote participation available outside of the hubs?
Hi, yes, absolutely. We will have remote participation for everybody. We will have Adobe Connect rooms available for anybody accessing from home or offices. So people can access anywhere with individual access. We will have actually 7 Adobe Connect rooms, publicly open, and each room will be transmitting Net Mundial in a particular language. So we will have translation for the 6 UN languages plus Portuguese. So everybody can participate and they can choose the best language for them.
Thank you. Did Evan have a question? No, that was a misunderstanding. One question I would have, you said now the document is stable, but what will happen then when the meeting starts? Will it be updated as we go along?
During the meeting, it's possible, Markus, to make the document. This is the intention of the executive committee. So as soon as we have a new version coming from the committee after the session, we can publish at least a partial part, right? If we cannot go through all the topics, that's a possibility.
Okay, thank you. Other questions? Mike Nelson?
I think I got the question from Mike in the chat, right? Who will be rewriting the document? Okay, well, we will not rewrite the documents according to the executive committee. We will not rewrite the documents during the session. Basically, during the sessions, we will take inputs. So we want people to spend most of the time commenting or questioning the document. After the sessions, the chair and members of the executive committee will meet in a separate room, and we will prepare the rewriting of the document. This meeting will happen in a separate room of Net Mundial, and this meeting will be open. So anybody who wants to come and listen what is happening in this meeting, the doors will be open to anyone, okay? And the rewriting will happen in this part. We will not take time during the session, the main sessions to rewrite the document. We think it's too much time spending. We don't have this time. But the rewriting process will be open.
Okay, thank you. Evan, did you want to ask a question? I see you put your hand up. Doesn't seem to be. Yes, please. And Elisa? Elisa, please.
Markus,
Well,
can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Markus, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, my question was about the consensus determination procedure. How is consensus on the document going to be determined?
Well, we prepare some tools for the session chair. We will have some voting with the badges, so we can take vote from each constituency group during each decision. The idea is to divide the consensus in parts, so we will have each topic being presented and discussed during the session, and we hope to get consensus over proposals that will come up during the meeting. So during the sessions, we hope to get consensus in some part, and but the last session, chaired by Professor Virgilio Almeida, is supposed to approve the full document. So that's the information I have so far, and we also have the board members of Net Mundial, so that Professor Virgilio and the other co-chairs meeting early next week to finish all the strategies. So I don't have much detailed information right now about this particular regard. Right.
Okay, thank you for that. And I think you have already given us more time than you were originally have originally promised. So thank you very much for that. And we let to your other commitments. Thanks a lot, Danielle, and we look forward to touching base with you in Sao Paulo too. Okay, what I suggest now is that we maybe look at the draft as it is, and let's take, we have actually, we're fortunate also, we have the representative of the technical committee in the multi-stakeholder executive group, Akinori Maemura, with us, and I wonder whether you would like to give a brief description of the document and give us a little bit the history, how it came about. Akinori, would you be willing to do that?
Yes, thank you very much, Markus. Then the overview of the meeting conduct is actually as explained by Daniel, and I think I hope it has been understood by everyone. But if you had any point, please question raise a question in this occasion. Then for the draft outcome document, the way of the producing this was, as you know, that we had 180 plus contributions from the in the process of the call for contribution, and then many of them have the only principles, the input for the principle and the input for the roadmap, and some document has the both. But we extract them to the principle and the roadmap, and we divided the EMC into two groups, to the principal team and the roadmap team, and the work on to develop the draft. And we did in the way that the 180 is a quite huge number, and actually it is impossible for us to reflect every aspect of the 180 documentation. So we started to do some analysis of these contribution, and we pick up the keywords, and then we highlight some keywords with the aspect which gather the more number of the pointing out from the contributions. So then we started to draft it up, and actually, many people might feel the draft outcome document that is not reflecting what you want to have. So it is actually I hear several such a concern on the draft outcome document, but it is as I said, it is really difficult to reflect every aspect of the whole document. Then we tried our best, but I could not say everyone's everyone's want can necessarily reflect it to the outcome document. But our point of producing the document, the higher probability to have it reach to a consensus. So we try to avoid some description which has a quite controversial aspect of the content, but we try to have more principle level of the concept, which seems to be easy to get a consensus. So that's how we produce the draft outcome. Then some people might complain that the production process of the draft outcome is not really clear and transparent, and it's another question for us. But we tried our best to have the transparency, but so by doing the call for the contribution and publish the draft outcome in advance to the meeting, and have the public comment period, and until just before the Net Mondial meeting commencing next week. But other drafting process should be just within the EFT and the EMC with the Secretariat. So we tried our best to do that, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't necessarily mean to perfectly fit the everyone's want. So that's what I want to say in front of you. And I don't want to get into the substance of the draft. It is actually as published in front of you. Then if you have the comments and want of the change in the draft document, then please don't hesitate to make a comment to the document.netmundial.br, which is accepting the many all comments from yours. Then it will be basis of the base material for the Net Mundial meeting to influence the current draft outcome. So that's all from me. Thank you very much. The return to Markus. Thanks.
For this, we have some time, but we would also like to invite all participants, if you have time and you cannot say it orally, to give us comments in writing you may have, or some more detailed comments. That would be very helpful for us going into the Net Mundial. But I would like to open the floor on some maybe high-level comments, not going into details, but overall impressions, what you have to say about this document before us. And if you have time, we can go more into details in a second round. Who would like to comment? I see there are quite a few comments in the chat room. Evan has a lot to comment. Would you like to? Okay, please ask my questions to the speakers. Well, you see the questions and the comments in the chat room. What measures are being taken to address safety concerns about attendees who cannot afford the venue hotel? Are there any shuttles or other safe transport options being implemented? I'm not sure. Daniel is not with us anymore. Whether maybe Raquel knows.
Markus, this is Akinori. I can respond to Evan's question. And Evan pointed out that the in comparison with the original draft, which I guess that the earlier version of the draft outcome document, which leaked to the WikiLeaks, for example, then it is actually changed to the published version of the draft outcome. Then it is anyhow a bit a shame of ours that the document is leaked, because that is not meaning we want to keep the secrecy, but the earlier draft is not really mature in terms of the the EMC's constellation. But EMC worked some further further since the earlier document pitches actually had been available. Then the work of ours since then to the published version of the draft outcome is to quite evolutional approach to the draft improved, and the EMC once the EMC made the draft. It was circulated among the dialogue committee, and then had a look the board member of the Net Mundial had a look at it to be published. And then the one of the aspects we worked on that is the how to make it increase the probability of getting consensus. Then that's that's our way. Then it's I'm not really not really clear whatever tried to point out, which is the negative from the public interest point of view, and which is I'm curious about. Then if you had something some input to give me, I'm really happy to have it.
I think I would not have too much on that. There has been a change. The first document, now the second document. Now let's focus on what we have and maybe also go more into the substance of the document instead of just share
Thank you very much.
process. There may be others who would wish to comment. Are there others who would like to comment? Well, shall we go more into the substance of the document and maybe start with the principles? Are there issues with regard to the principles? Nick would like to comment or ask a question, please.
A different section, so I will wait.
Well, please, Nick, or even if the topic is different, you're the one who asked for the floor. So,
sure. I wanted to just quickly comment on the section on open and distributed architecture, and certainly just wanted to make just sort of obviously ask about perhaps where the origins of that came from, and sort of put out that it seems like it could be a bit confusing from a technical perspective, and suggest that it may be something that we want to reconsider, and also from this language could be used to promote sort of rigid technical solutions. Consider that perhaps we also keep in mind that this may be brought into the ITU at some point as well.
okay. Thank you for this comment. I wonder, would you have any wording you could suggest to make it less, or to make it clearer? You don't have to do it now, but you can also send it in writing.
Thank you very much. I think that's something that we're going to be doing. We're just in the process of looking at it.
Okay. So. Okay. Thank you very much. That is very helpful. Are there other comments that would address sections of the documents which are unclear or insufficiently clear? There was one question in the chat room: how will the input from people not endorsing the outcome document be taken into consideration? From Natalie. I'm not sure whether Akinori can comment on that. If you have an answer, please be very, very concise. Yes.
I try, but you know, it is actually beyond our capability of the. Yes, we actually try to prepare the draft document which has the higher probability to get to the consensus. And what we know is that we have the session chair who will have the big endeavor to make it to the consensus. And as the EMC who drafted the document, we tried to draft it, that's mindful to have it easier to get consensus. Then actually, I have no idea if what will be happening if the discussion goes not really converging. But just we can tell you is that to try our best. The EMC will be assisting the session chair in the session. Yeah. And then we try best to converge the discussion and then have the favorable consensus. So that's all from me. I hope it is something explaining.
Okay, thank you for that. Evan, who's signaled in the chat, that will now be ready.
Marcus, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sorry for the problems I've caused to others through my wonderful technical fund coming in. About the question of security, I simply mention it because I've been advised by some people that live in the area that even the walk that is a short distance from the Bernini area and from the Ibis, where some people will be staying, is something that can't easily be done in the evening. So that's why I was asking for support with any logistics or anything like that in terms of shuttles or other transportation. On the substance of the document, I wanted to ask a couple of questions. For instance, there are terms there are references to net neutrality that were in some of the original documents that were totally removed. The term of free flow of information doesn't exist anymore. The word public and open and public standards is not there any longer. These are the kinds of questions that I have about changes that have been made from the earliest draft to the one current. All of these drafts, all of these things, all of the changes that have been made appear to be things that would be things that the Internet Society and civil society as a whole would probably not approve of. And so that is why I am asking what the process is of editing and why that so many things that seem to be good news for the public interest in earlier releases have basically been edited out. And I guess I just want to try and find out the process, because the first drafts that came out looked promising, and a lot of that appears to have been excised from the document. That's the core of my current concern. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Understood. Can you please make sure you unmute? Thank you. But I would suggest let's not discuss that much further. We have heard your point of view, that that has happened, and now we will have to live with the text we have and make the most out of it. So I would suggest, please comment and discuss among yourselves on the basis of the text we have here. Are there single passages you would like to address, elements that you found should be improved?
I guess, Marcus, my answer to that would be to try and see if the terms net neutrality and free flow of information can be reintroduced into the document.
Okay, thanks. Other comments?
Well, I don't know how to put my hand up.
Sorry, what's that?
Marcus, can you hear me?
Yes, who's speaking?
This is Christopher Wilkinson. I'm in,
yes, hello, Christopher.
In a cafe in Brussels on some sort of public Wi-Fi, so not good. Just to say, I fully support the concerns that Evan Leibovitch has just expressed twice. Look, unless the multi-stakeholder model can fully protect the public interest on a spontaneous and intrinsic basis, it will constantly be under pressure, if not opposition, from governments who think they can protect the public interest better. And the trend that we have seen in the document to date is not encouraging. I'm not depressed. Perhaps I'm less depressed than Evan is, because I'm quite sure this document will go through several moutures, several drafts in Sao Paulo. But the general principle, from my point of view and my experience, which I dare to say is not entirely negligible in this area, unless the multi-stakeholder model can deliver the public interest, which I regret to say recently ICANN has not always been doing, it will not survive as a governance model. So please, can we all take Evan's points and some of the other points that have been made on the list very seriously indeed, because this could be a make or break. Thank you.
Comments? Doesn't seem to be the case. Are we exhausted our patience with this document? Okay, we will have more time to look at it, and we encourage you also to comment. That helps us to focus our position. We have scheduled till for another 8 minutes. Now, I wonder whether we have time to quickly touch on the other items that we had originally put on the agenda. As I said in my introduction, the WPDC, I think, was a positive experience, and I wonder, Sally, whether you will give us in a nutshell a little bit your takeaway from the Dubai conference.
And hi, everyone. We're reading from one conference to the next here. I just returned from Dubai. I am trying to, at the same time, preparing for Brazil, summarize my thoughts from Dubai. But I think in general, there was a very concerted effort by the ITU and by governments not to repeat a performance of the wicket from a year and a half ago. And so there was a lot of concern and effort taken to keep the discussion focused on development and to focus primarily on the proposals and the ideas and suggestions put forward from developing countries who were asking things of the ITU for the next 4-year period. The WTDC is not a treaty conference, it's important to note, and it is a meeting that essentially sets the work plan for the development activities of the ITU for the coming 4-year period. The issues I think maybe that this group would be most interested in, there was a lot of interest from countries in understanding some quote-unquote newer aspects of the technology space, things like over-the-top, cloud, and so those topics will be studied in study groups and working groups going forward in the development sector. There's of course a lot of interest in capacity building, everyone wanting to know how to deploy, maintain, sustain broadband networks and deliver the services that they expect those networks to deliver. And there was a lot of discussion on the different elements on how to make that happen. I think this is the ITU. It's a member state discussion primarily. There's some opportunity for sector members, but these are the questions that governments are posing, and to that extent, we have to take them seriously. But of course, our view is that these are the kinds of issues that are best and well addressed through a multi-stakeholder discussion. So I think on the whole, it was a fairly constructive and positive meeting in Dubai, maybe in contrast to the last one. But there's a lot of work to be done, of course, over the next several months, and we're on a path of a very busy international policy agenda. And the issues that were raised in Dubai will be with us over the next year and a half period.
Thank you for that. We still have a few more minutes, and right now there is a meeting, a preparatory meeting in Geneva with +10, and I would like to invite Constance to report on how this is going. And there is, of course, the big question whether there should be a summit, a repeat summit for WSIS in next year. But Constance, please, very, very brief.
Sure. Thank you, Marcus, and good morning or good afternoon to everyone. So as Marcus mentioned, we are reaching the end of a week of discussions, preparations organized by the ITU in Geneva around the 10-year review of the WSIS. This has been a process with 2 phases. The first one led by UNESCO last year, which resulted in a high-level statement, which you can find on the UNESCO website. And the second phase led by ITU with, in coordination with other UN sister organizations. The purpose of the review is, first of all, to assess the implementation of the WSIS targets. And in this respect, there are a lot of elements to consider, specifically the various action lines, which touch many different issues, going to security, to the ethical dimension of the information society, infrastructure development, enabling access. The scope of issues is extremely broad. The second objective of this review is to build a collective vision for the post-2015 era. This process, as Marcus mentioned, will feed into the formal review of the WSIS, which, according to the Tunis agenda, must take place in 2015. There are discussions going on at the level of the UN General Assembly in New York consultations led by Finland and Tunisia, and governments are specifically discussing the format of that review. The important question being, will we have a simple high-level event, or should we have a formal summit and revisit the consensus that was built around the Tunis agenda? And we are expecting to have responses on the format of that review by end of May. Coming back to the process that's going on right now, the ITU-led WSIS Plus 10 review, we are expecting to have a 5th meeting. This is not completely decided yet, but that would take place end of May, where we would agree on the various documents, both the part on the implementation of the WSIS outcomes and the part on the vision. And those meetings in this process, of course, leading into the high-level event organized early June here in Geneva, with the participation of ministers, CEOs. It's going to be a multi-stakeholder event, but we are not expecting to have negotiation of documents during the conference itself. It is hoped that we will reach an agreement by end of May. I'll stop there.
Yes, it's not an easy process. With that, I think we come to the close. And Raquel, I wonder whether you have some logistical announcements or how we try to keep in touch with the ISOC community while in Sao Paulo, please.
Just a quick note, please save the date for the 22nd, the prior day of Net Mundial evening. We are organizing a get-together with the ISOC community, probably a dinner starting at 8 p.m. After the reception. So please, we will follow with more information to members. And I'm, as a Brazilian and based in São Paulo, I'm looking forward to welcoming all of you. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Raquel. Yes, we will have a fairly strong delegation from ISOC. Our CEO and President, Kathy Brown, will be there. Sally and Raquel, who are on the call, will be there. Leslie, our Chief Internet Technology Officer, myself, Sebastian, the Regional Bureau Director for Latin America, and Kathy Seebach from our communications team. So we have a strong delegation on the spot, and we look forward to seeing those of you who will be able to come to Sao Paulo, and hopefully you can join us at the social get-together on Tuesday evening. And with that, I would like to thank you all for attendance and your interest. We still would like to be interested who was on the call, and those who were phoned in who never identified themselves. Maybe you were too shy, but if you send us an email saying who you were, just for our own record so that we know who was on the call. It was actually, I think, in terms of attendance, our best ever webinar. We had close to 70 people on the call. So thank you all for this, and please, if you have comments, send us on a mailing list. It will help us greatly if you make detailed comments on the draft document we have before us. It was very helpful to have your comments orally, but if you have additional comments in writing, that would be very helpful. With that, I close the meeting, and thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Goodbye. Bye-bye.